Yeah, no, right.
There we go. All right, welcome back to the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave. I cover the Bears for SM. Of course, joined by my good friend, co-host Ficky, Chicago Bears content creator. We're going to obviously be talking Bears Commanders. Bye week was fun. We had a good episode there. It was real laid back. And of course, now we have a huge matchup. Still not sure about, the Commanders and who is starting at quarterback, whether it's Mariota or Daniels. But we have Josh Taylor, who's going to help kind of cover the side of the Commanders. He writes looks like he is Underdog Fantasy. We'll kind of bring him in here in a moment, kind of to give that side, that perspective. Ficky, before we hop in and bring him in, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Look, we had a bye week, so we didn't lose. I'll take that, right? I think a lot of us are in like anticipation mode, waiting to figure out what's going on with Jaden Daniels. So this is probably our first big matchup for the defense against this top-tier offense. So I'm excited to see what we got cooking up for this. So it's great to hear when we bring Josh on his perspective about how this dynamic offense is and how he thinks he'll face against this top 5 defense.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Well, let's just go ahead and bring Josh Taylor in. Josh, again, like I said, with Underdog Fantasy, covers the Commanders. He's a huge Commanders fan as well. So Josh, first of all, thank you for hopping on, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
How you doing? How you feeling about this matchup?
I like, first off, like we were already looking forward to this because it's Caleb and Jaden. Maybe we don't even know. But I feel like the buildup has been like 2 weeks, like almost 3 weeks now, just like with all the Rookie of the Week awards for Jaden and stuff, and then Bears fans and Washington fans chirping. Like, first off, it's not even that big of a deal. Like Rookie of the Week awards, like I get it. Like Rookie of the Year would be nice. But it seems like the buildup to this, and then it's kind of like now on a slope. Like, are we even going to get that matchup, or is it going to be Marcus Mariota, leading the offense? But I'm excited because, kind of like what y'all said with y'all's defense, this is our first real test for our offense since week 1 when we played the Bucs in Tampa, like going against y'all's defense, who is missing some key pieces that came out today. So that's big.
Yes, we are missing Jaquan Brisker, our starting safety.
Love Jaquan Brisker, by the way. Jay Breezy.
I know, he's one of my favorites. We had a list during the bye week. We were like going over our 5 favorite Bears players, and like the Bears team, I'm not sure how the Commanders feel, but it's like a really fun roster. So it was really
we love y'all's team.
It was thank you, man. But it was tough to kind of pick 5, and Brisker, of course, was in mine. Was he in yours, Ficky?
Yeah, he was in mine too.
Yeah, we just love him. And then, but Kyler Gordon's up there as well. He's out. So I mean, 2 key pieces, arguably 2 of our best pieces, especially in that secondary. But we get Stevenson back. But I want to touch on real quick Jaden Daniels because it has been up in there. He did not practice at all. However, he's listed as questionable. I don't know if you guys saw that. How are you feeling? Do you think he plays? How is it feeling kind of in Washington right now?
So he secretly practiced today. They didn't really say much about it, but it's out there. Like he practiced today. We have like this little practice bubble right next to like one of our new fields. And every Friday the quarterbacks practice on the same field, but they were all in the bubble for a while. And then like Marcus Mariota came out, Sam Hartman came out, Driscoll came out. And they were like waiting on Jaden. So like we didn't see him. So like, okay, he didn't practice. But then like after practice, Dan Quinn's like, oh, he practiced. And we're like, well, where was this? So the fact that he is questionable, you're like, it doesn't look too good. But I don't know. I feel like he's going to play. Like this is probably the most like 50-50 I've been on it because he is your franchise guy. Like you do want to protect him. This is a random game as much as like we want to see Caleb and Jade. This is a random game. Like if it was next week against the Giants, the NFC, like the NFC East, you're like, okay, like that's a little bit more important. But this game, I don't know. But I don't like I'm literally 50-50, like as of today. Like I was like, if he doesn't practice, I'm gonna lean more towards no. But the fact that like, oh yeah, he practiced today. It just seems really weird. Yeah, I think they're just keeping it under the wraps a little bit, honestly.
Oh, of course. This is definitely coach, their coach speaking, hiding it behind the curtain so no one knows what's going on. But my question is for you, Josh, is you made a great point, right? At the end of the day, this is it's the same conference, but not a division game, right? Yeah. And as we know with the rib, it can get injured again, right? And you can make the situation worse. And as we know with Jaden Daniels, electric athlete, great player, but even back to his college days, this man does not know how to dodge a hit, right?
Yeah.
Jumping into tackles, just getting blown up. Like you want to see a definition of like a Madden hit stick in real life. Go watch some of Jaden. Yeah. Go watch some of Jaden Daniels in college, right? And so my question is then for you, right? Is it more, I know you're 50-50 on it, but is it more important to keep Jaden Daniels healthy down the stretch, right? Because if you lose this one game, you guys are still in great position for your division, right? Because to be fair, your division's not that great.
Yeah, we're first right now.
So. Exactly, right? So one game's probably not going to do it. Now, if you were like in the NFC North like us, like losing one game, you might be out of the playoffs. So at this rate. But my question is for you, would you rather see Jaden sidelined or have him play? And then also to add more context, after seeing how Mariota played in your system last week, does that give you any sense of hope? I know it's the Panthers and anyone can look good on them as we did as well. Right? Put us three out there. We can at least get 7.
Yeah,
right?
we're doing something. Some screens.
Yeah, for sure. So do you feel more confident after seeing how Mariota played last game? You're like, you know what? This game doesn't matter as much. Mariota can give us a chance to win. Let's just rock with him.
Well, I mean, as a fan, like I live in Austin, Texas. I bought plane tickets. Like I'm going to this game tomorrow morning. So like I'm flying to Virginia, going back home. So like, yeah, I was, really hoping to see Jaden and Caleb in this game. So it would kind of suck for it to be Marcus Mariota. But like from like a smart standpoint though, I don't want him playing this game. And I know, like, I mean, if you've played sports, you can we could easily inject something above that rib. He would not feel a thing. But then also like something that people aren't talking a lot about, like, like long-term wise, like just the game, like the torque, like in your torso, like get in like those throws and stuff. If he's feeling that, and if it's like at all, like hindering his throws and stuff, there's no reason for him to be out there. If he's just like not throwing the same, if it's like, weaker balls and stuff like that, like for me, it's not even just long-term. It's like, we could lose the game if he's at like 60, 70%. That's not a good idea. Now with Marcus, and I got a lot of hate for it, but like literally in the middle of the game, I was like, I'm going to jump off a bridge if I have to watch Marcus Mariota and Caleb next week after I dropped $1,000 to go back home. Like, this is like my personal hell. Yeah. But he surprised the heck out of me. I was like, damn, this is like Eugene, Oregon, like Marcus Mariota out here. We haven't seen that before. And I think it has a lot to do with Cliff's offense, the simple college offense, like Cam Taylor-Britt said. But I think it's just such a quarterback-friendly offense. It translates so well. But there's some throws that I saw Marcus make, and I'm like, that's not even just the offense. That's just a damn good throw. Like he had one where he stepped up in the pocket on the run, cross-body to Terry, like a tight window throw. I had to do scouting for SIS, and I had to do that game. Like we labeled it as like a tight window throw. Like he made a couple of those where I'm just like, dang, like this Marcus came out of nowhere. So I think the offense helps, not elevate Marcus, but it just helps him be successful in the offense. So like, I still feel good about it to where if it is him, I'm like, I think we still have a chance to win this game because the offense is clicking like on all cylinders right now. We're first in the league in points, tied with the Ravens.
Crazy. No one expected that going into the season.
No one did.
Is it like 31 points per game or something like that?
It's like, yes, 31.
It's above 30, which is crazy.
But the interesting is, now I know we're missing Brisker and Gordon. However, there is a lot of depth on the secondary, which is probably one of the stronger points on that in our defense. And they have not given up 21 plus in 12 straight games. So, and I don't think Washington has played a defense like Chicago yet. And there's not a lot of them like this in the league. There's a lot of good ones, but I think Chicago's probably top tier. So I'm excited about that matchup. So kind of talking about that, what are your keys to the game on the Washington side? If it's, let's just say Jaden starting, because I don't know how you feel, Ficky, but I feel like this is all a huge smokescreen. I think he's playing. Like, I really do. Especially
I think I'm on the other side, but I could see him playing. I think he's not going to.
Yeah. Josh, did you see his press conference?
Oh, yeah, he was cheesing. Like, but that's Jaden though. Like he smiles about everything. Okay, like I do too. So like I get it.
Yeah, he just looks so happy and like it almost looks like he's hiding a secret. I'm like,
he's just a good guy, honestly.
Yeah.
He just loves football.
Okay, let's just say from both perspectives. Yeah. So if Jaden starts, what are your keys to the Commanders getting the win? You're at home. Same with Mariota if he were to start.
I think it's the same, honestly. It comes down to just running the ball up the middle. Like, if I think there's a weakness for y'all's team, it'd be the interior D-line. And that's our strength. Like, look how well we run the ball. I mean, B-Rob, like, we knew B-Rob was good, and I'm an Alabama fan. So, like, I knew B-Rob was good. But, like, before that Ravens game where no one can run the ball against the Ravens, we had the top rushing offense. That's with Eckler being hurt a couple of games. That's with B-Rob being hurt a couple of games. We had a third-string running back, McNichols coming out of nowhere. So, I think that's the key regardless. Like, we need to control the ball. Don't let Caleb in that offense on the field and just run the ball down your throat like boring, like just old school football. Like, I hate to say it, but that's what it comes down to, because when we are running the ball well, nobody can stop us. And it starts with B-Rob and Eckler. Like I said, regardless if it's Jaden or Marcus Mariota, I think that should be the plan regardless, because you still got Jalen and you still got Tyreek Stevenson, who I was a huge fan coming out of. We took Forbes instead of him. So I was like, this guy Tyreek's going to be legit, and he's been balling out since y'all drafted him. So, I mean, like I said, I love y'all's defense, but I think if there is a weak point, it's the interior D-line. We know Tez. We know what Tez is going to do. I'm not, scared of running towards Tez, but I think it's just that interior D-line's for sure where I'm targeting, just inside zone duo, like the entire game.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, even the Panthers gashed just one drive, and that's all they had in them. But during that drive, it was the run game.
Chuba did for us like 2 drives too. I was like, dang, where'd this come from?
They go away from it too after it works. I'm like, okay, thank you, Carolina. What's up, Fick? Oh, you're muted, Fick. Pulling to me, dude.
It happens.
Anyways, so as Ficky gets, he's out of the conversation right now. I'm sure it was good though, Ficky. But going into this game, one thing that I don't know how big, I don't think it's being talked about enough, but Jonathan Allen, him being out, is he out for the year?
Oh, he's out for the year.
Yeah.
Those pecs are crazy.
For me, I feel like that's a big deal. Your defense is already kind of success or has some weaknesses, but him being out, rushing the passer, giving Caleb, which our offensive line has played a little better. How are you feeling about him just being out in general? And do you think the Bears obviously can take advantage of that, right?
I mean, I love John Allen. That's my guy. Yeah. I've been watching him since high school. I've been able to meet him a couple of times, have him on the show. He's a cool dude. Yeah, it's funny because fans just look at the stats and stuff and he's not getting the sacks he did before and stuff like that. They try to discredit him all the time. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
interior lineman.
Yeah, he gets he gets not everyone's sexy Dexy. Who else in the league is doing that? Aaron Donald's gone. You can't expect D tackles getting 3 sacks a game. So a lot of Washington fans discredit him a lot. But I was this is a huge loss because now you're asking a rookie in Johnny Newton, who I loved him coming out of college, by the way. But he had a surgery in the offseason. He wasn't able to practice at training camp. He was still getting used to things. And he's starting to play well and he's starting to settle in more. I think he's going to grow some more. But you're taking that, a leader off the defense, a big time veteran guy, and replacing him with 2 young guys, him and Fedarian Mathis, another Alabama boy. So we're leaning heavy on Deron Payne. And last week was the first game without John Allen. We saw, DQ and Coach Witt mix up a couple things in the D line, had Deron Payne out in the 9 at one point where he circled all the way all the way back and attacked the center like a freight train, just stuff like that. So it does suck, but I think they're starting to realize we can get pressure with Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong when he's healthy, Clelin Ferrell practiced today, so that's big too. And you talked about Caleb. That's another focus for me in this game. Caleb's been great the last few weeks. But there's one guy on our team that knows Caleb better than I think anyone on Chicago, and that's Cliff.
Cliff, yeah.
I mean, Cliff was at his hip all last year at USC. I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about too. He knows his tendencies, he knows what he looks for, and I know he's in a different offense. But if you can get Caleb off of his game where he's out of rhythm, he's just trying to force these throws and stuff like he did at the beginning of the year. He hasn't done it much lately, which is great. But I think if you can do that and you can force some turnovers and stuff like that, it helps out a ton. But if not, our secondary, they allow some big passes, man. It's bad.
Great.
It's bad. Just don't watch that Ravens game. So I think if we can get to Caleb, it'll be massive for us. And I think it'll cause some turnovers and stuff like that. And having John out to not be able to do that hurts big time.
I have a question about Payne, though, because I feel and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some Washington fans were kind of concerned that he's not living up to his expectations this season. How do you feel about that?
No,
because he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, no, I think Deron's good. It's him and John Allen as soon as they got paid, because 1 year Payne had 10, 11 sacks, and then Allen had 10 or 11 sacks. They had crazy years, just contract years, of course. And then after that, fans I don't see them getting the sacks and stuff. And then they're getting double teamed literally every single play. And then it just creates this wide open gaps. But then our linebackers were so bad, it was showing. And people are they're going right through John Allen and Deron Payne. They suck. I'm no, our second level is atrocious. But now we have like the best linebacker duo in the NFL so far this season, Frankie Louv and Bobby Wagner, so that helps out a bunch. But I think especially stopping the run, Deron Payne is like big in stopping the run. Like he's so good at getting off of these tackles and filling in those gaps. But yeah, our fans, man, I love them to death, but they are some like, depth chart watchers, and they'll look at the ESPN app like, oh, well, Deron Payne didn't have a sack this game. What the heck? We paid him so much money. Like, you just got to watch know what you're looking for.
Yeah, especially with D linemen, because a lot of times it's gap responsibility. Like it's not, they're supposed to fill a hole.
Not
right?
fancy.
So the secondary.
That's how John Allen got hurt.
Exactly.
He was trying to hold back a guy on a Derrick Henry run and tore his pec. Like it's not just, get off a block. You have to make a play in the backfield every single play. Like that's impossible.
No,
man, I am glad we don't have to play the Ravens. Like that team looks so nasty, dude.
And we still almost beat them. Our defense was terrible.
Yeah, y'all played well. That was a good game, especially for a rookie quarterback. Now, before we get to your score prediction, which we got our graphic to bring up, I want to ask you, what scares you the most about playing the Bears this week,
if anything?
Oh, I mean, no,
it's
y'all
true.
Definitely do. What scares me, I think, the most is the wide receivers. Because I love Rome. I think Keenan's been up there as one of those underrated wide receivers like Terry. Like, I think they're in the same tier. Yeah. I think Terry's a little bit better than him now. But just like the last few years, just the last few years, though, you're like, dude, Keenan Allen gets so discredited, like with everything he does. And then DJ Moore last year gave me like the worst game of my life.
He had 8 receptions, 230 yards.
God,
yeah,
dude,
2 touchdowns,
3 touchdowns.
And it was that last play too, which was crazy too. It was your rookie quarterback. He overbid on that man
Sam
coverage.
Howell.
Yeah, and then took it to the house to kind of seal the
deal.
Well, not to bring up PTSD for you, but
no, I mean people expect. I mean, but we had Ron Rivera, Sam Howell, the worst defense in the league. Like, and that's another thing too. Like, this is a completely different team, and that's why I think we're so surprised by it. Like, if you look at it, they did like the statistics over the offseason. This roster had the most turnover of anyone in the league. And we had more starters on our team last year that aren't even on a team right now. That's bad. It just shows you how terrible. Adam Peters is like my savior. Like him and Dan Quinn both have just turned this around. So we can't have that same thing as last year. DJ Moore, God, I mean, and then like I said, you add Roman Dunze. I'm not really worried about the run game, even though our run defense isn't the best. But then y'all secondary, even with my boy Brisker and Kyler Gordon, it's still like if Marcus is out there, I don't want him to get frantic and try to force anything.
Well, with Jalen Johnson being out there, he at least shuts down typically a half side. If you're not, unless Mariota throws at him or even Daniels, I would be shocked because he has such low
20 targets.
I'm about
20
to say,
targets on the whole season, which is crazy.
Does he usually just like stay on the number one wide receiver, or is he a
he normally stays on the right side, or I always get confused. If you're looking at from the offensive view, he normally stays on the left side. He doesn't typically shadow.
He doesn't man up typically. Okay. However, he will occasionally, especially like on a big down, right? So if Terry's eating him up, I think they might go man, but he's definitely
I don't see him guarding Olamide Zaccheaus instead of Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. So I hope not.
no disrespect to the Wizard of Oz we got.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that concerns me too. Like if he does stay on Terry, and I think, when it comes to like contested catches and being physical, I think Terry can, compete. Not saying
he's an all. He's one of my favorite players.
He's so underrated. For years, he's been underrated.
I wanted him in Chicago. I don't know what quarterback was. I think it was before DJ Moore. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same DJ Moore kind of trajectory, right? DJ's probably done a little bit more, but like just had bad quarterbacks his whole career and still
1,000 yards every single year.
When you can do that with bad quarterbacks, like you're good.
Yeah, you call it passes from like Mark Sanchez and Josh Johnson, like you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah, and I will say this: I know there's a lot of. I see it. I don't really like give it any attention as far as like the quarterback debate in Chicago and Washington because I think both Caleb and Jaden are just electric, dude.
I love Caleb.
And it's good for the league, like even if we were to lose and Jaden were to play and it's a good game, like it's good for the league, man. Like of course
this
we
is
want to
Brady
win.
Manning, this
for
is
sure. I think
this could be the future.
I think that's a great point because I think what people are still scarred over is last year's Bryce CJ Stroud, right? And so what happened was Caleb didn't come out strong. She was like, there's the Bryce scenario,
there
right?
We go.
And then you have Jaden who comes out a little bit stronger like CJ Stroud. But this could be more of an example of, 2000? one was it one? That may be too far back. That's like Peyton Manning, but like the Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning year, right?
Yeah.
Where all three of those franchises, I think, are happy with their selections, and it worked out, right? That doesn't always happen. Or you can even go back to like, what was it? The Burrow, Lamar, Allen. Is that the same one? Maybe.
I think Burrow.
Yeah.
Lamar. Was that
I'm pretty sure it was.
I can't remember if it
no,
is.
Burrow.
Yeah, I don't think. No, Burrow may have been.
Burrow
after that. Was it Allen then? Allen, Mahomes, and no, that's not it. I can't remember now.
We're just thinking of all the good quarterbacks.
Dave's looking it up. But anyways, there was a year recently, but there's like 3 starting quarterbacks now that are like top 10.
Burrow,
right?
Herbert, Tua.
It could be. There it is. It's Burrow, Herbert, Tua. Thank you. It could be more of an example like that, right? Where when Tua's healthy, where all franchises are like, hey, our quarterback is good. When he's on the field, they're well. Like we wouldn't trade it for anybody else. So I'm hoping
2 quarterbacks can be good. It's possible.
It's possible.
And he's a decent kid.
And it's just so early too, though. It's so
6
early.
games.
6 games. I know Jaden's playing out of his mind. You got to give it at least a season or 2, But I think both guys are looking really good. We got to get you out of here. But before we do, we have your score prediction. I know we asked for it. We want to bring up the graphic, Vic, and I want you to kind of explain, Josh, why you came to this conclusion. And this is with, I think, Jaden Daniels, correct? Or does it even matter?
I will go out on a limb and say both. I think this is going to be a really close, just a good game. I think we do find a way to just run the ball how I hope we can and control it a little bit more. And then I have tied game. Our boy Austin Siebert, a.k.a. Cyborg, just goes down the field. He's automatic. He has an ugly-ass kick, but it goes through the uprights. That's all I care about. And I think he kicks a game winner at the end. But I think it is a good game, regardless if it's Jaden or Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. I will say, he hasn't missed a kick, right? He's like perfect on the season.
Did he missed one?
He
missed one last week or the week before.
Okay.
Bro, the kickers this year, they need to get them all tested. I don't know what the hell they're on.
We just signed them right before the season because we had Brandon McManus and he got in trouble, so we released him. And then we traded for Cade York, and he sucked. We could trade like a 7th, and he didn't make like a single kick, I don't think. And then we just signed this guy randomly from the Browns. So he took both of the Browns kicker. And then, he's been so good. He might have missed one. I think it got blocked. That's what it was, though. It would have went in, though.
Okay.
There's no doubt.
Man, if we lose, honestly, we lose by a field goal, like a game-winning field.
Those are painful.
Those are worse. You talked about jumping off a bridge.
And if it's Mariota, no offense to Mariota. I know I actually like good backup, serviceable. But man, if we lose to Mariota, I'll be pretty pissed. Because our schedule, I'm not sure if you know, Josh, it is brutal after. So our next 3 games are very, I guess, winnable. But then after that, it's our division. And our division is just
being in
disgusting.
that division alone, it sucks for y'all. But I mean, I don't know. The Vikings are kind of downfalling now. The Packers
was interesting
have
last night.
Yeah, Darisaul's out for the season. That
was a tough loss.
And that's what I've been telling. Like, same for y'all. We should both be buyers at the trade deadline. Like, no one thought we were going to be first in the NFC East. I think we sweep the Giants. I think we can split the Cowboys and Eagles, make the playoffs. Like, go all in. Like, so many people are hurt this season. The 49ers are banged up. They don't even look good. Like, all 4 of y'all can make the playoffs, honestly.
I think it'll be interesting with I mean, you got both of our quarterbacks on the rookie contract too. So it's like, even if you make a big deal, you got 3 more years of this. So it's interesting. I know we got to get you out of here, but I'm interested to see if this could be a potential playoff matchup, because right now we're slated to play. Like,
it was a 2-7 seed or something like that.
Yeah. Which would be.
We have the second most cap space in the league too. So, like, I mean, spend some money.
And I think we're like 6. So these teams are very identical, and they found their quarterback
long term.
Found their quarterback, which is the hardest thing to do, especially as we know, right? So finding your quarterback and then having the talent around it. So, and I really like your guys' hire with Dan Quinn. Like, I live in Atlanta, so I follow like the Falcons pretty close enough, right? So like Dan Quinn was. I think he was a great coach, right? I think the Bears interviewed him as well. He didn't get it, but
that's another thing. I don't trust y'all's coaching staff at all. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I think he sucks.
It's week to week. It's week to week, but they've been better the last.
They've been much better. I'd say the last like 10 games, but it was a rough.
I will say, Matt
Eberflus
is an insanely gifted defensive coordinator. I know he's our head coach, but as a DC,
he's good.
insane. That's what he's going to do
Especially
if he ends up leaving Chicago or gets canned. But
especially with like the lack of talent that he has, because he's like, for the D line, for how much pressures and sacks we have, for like, if you were to look at our on roster, look
Dudes
at our
I
D
never
line,
heard of.
you'd be like, who? What?
Yeah.
Even before we got
Javon
Mons, is even
Dexter,
worse. Right.
Andrew Billings, DeMarcus Walker.
You're like, who and who?
I think Javon Dexter went to Florida. That's like all I know about him. Okay, that's all I know. Didn't even know who he played for.
He's actually having a very good year. He was a second round pick last year. This is his sophomore season, and he's actually the surprise on our team. He's he's like,
I like
6'6".
Booker too. I like Austin coming out.
Yeah, Booker's good too.
Yeah.
Still,
I think he's
a dog.
Yeah, he's like going to be. I think in 2-3 years, I think that's when we'll see him really take that.
I was surprised he wasn't starting, unless he is, because I was just looking at like y'all's depth chart. I had DeMarcus.
That's how good they've kind of been. Darrell Taylor, we traded for
a 7th rounder to get Darrell Taylor, and he's been like amazing.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, like basically you guys with your kicker, we're over here with D too. Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, Josh, we appreciate you hopping on, man. Good luck to you this weekend. Obviously, hopefully win. But
safe travels too.
First of all, tell us where we can find you, where people can listen to you, read you.
Yeah, so you have my social media at Josh Taylor FB, and then I do a lot of content for Bleacher Report, just like streams for Washington and stuff. And then I have my channel JTFB, just my name condensed pretty much on YouTube. And I'll do a little post game stream, but honestly, like, respect to y'all. Like, we both have some like crappy, troll fans like on social media and stuff like that. But like, I've watched y'all stuff and I love y'all show. So keep it up. Appreciate y'all having me on.
You do great work as well. So
thank you.
Everyone make sure to check out his post game. And if you want to watch it before us, that's okay as well. After the game, give him some love. So make sure to follow as well.
No. Watch ours, then go watch.
You can have multiple devices. Pull them both up and just mute one of them.
No, I'm just gonna do it on my phone just so I can beat y'all. Like, nah,
just doing it
live at the game right now.
Talking to Caleb Williams and Jaden Day or something like that.
Run on the field.
That's funny. Better than jumping off a bridge, right? So we'll take.
I might have to do both.
Safe travels to you, man. Appreciate you again.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Josh. You have a wonderful
evening.
See you,
Josh.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
Hey, all right, awesome. Appreciate Josh hopping on the show. Really, really cool guy. Again, follow him. Very, very cool fan. Of course, has a really fun team that he's covering as well. And now we are going to get into, like we always do, our preview for this game. We have our bold predictions. We have what else do we have, Ficky? Help me out.
The headlines.
We have headlines for
score
Monday. Score predictions, and then keys to the game. So a lot of fun stuff, a lot of cool graphics coming up. If you enjoyed that interview with Josh, having him on the show, hit that like button, subscribe. On the road to 10K subs. We're almost at 1 million views as well.
Crazy.
I think this will be here. I think after this episode, we will hit 1 million total views, which is insane to think of on YouTube. So we appreciate the support. It's been unreal. Again, follow me, follow Ficky, check out my work at Sports Mockery. This show would not be happening without them and their support. So we appreciate it. Shout out to Josh. Check out his stuff. We'll have his YouTube channel linked in the description. And I think we should bring on Jack here and let's get into our regular.
Let's do the read real quick, and then we'll the halftime read. I'm calling it now, and then we'll get back to this program. So this is your first time. Yeah, you can do that. If this is your first time, please give a thumbs and like, and we appreciate it. Thank you for watching the show on a Friday evening. We really do appreciate your time. Also, if this is your first time, give a hashtag new face gang in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time and you've been rocking with us for a minute, then you are a true OG, and please give a hashtag OG in the show. We love giving a shout out to y'all fans because this is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans like us, and we just trying to build a community here. Now, if you want to support us, you can support the BFR team by going to the BFRstore.com, where we have hats, we have shirts, we have hoodies in a variety of colors, and we're working on other merch as well. That is the BFRstore.com. Also, we now have the store linked to our YouTube channel, so you can just go to our YouTube channel and buy directly from there, so you don't even have to go to the URL. But if you want to support us that way, please do. If you just want to look fly over the season, then I recommend doing that. Also, we talked about growing a community here. If you want to be a part of our ongoing community, you can join our Patreon. That is the BFR Den Patreon, the BFR Den on Patreon. And we have exclusives like monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and we're working on much, much more to continue to bring y'all exclusive content. And I saw we had some new members join this week, so appreciate it. I think what we're going to do moving forward is that we're going to start giving shout outs for everybody that joined, so y'all can get some love for joining the BFR community. And we might even give a shout out to the ones that are already in there, been rocking with us. So we really do appreciate that. So again, if you want to support us, you can support us at the BFR store, also joining our Patreon. All the donations, proceeds come back to the show, and we just keep improving this week after week.
I love it. That was a very, very that moment of silence, that awkward silence was actually for Bayless Jones Jr. We'll take a minute.
Yeah, we might.
All right.
R.I.P. to that.
Next.
That's tough.
All right. Yep. Anyways,
that was actually pretty funny. That was good.
You like that one? Quick.
Can we talk about this for a second though? I was surprised. Like Bayless Jones, obviously he's been kind of, not been on the active list for a minute. But Kari, I know he hadn't been active for the past 2 games, but we've re-signed him for.
He has nobody else to blame but Doug Kramer, dude.
I know. Crazy though. Like, weren't you a little bit shocked though?
No,
it's not like a big deal, but I was like, oh, okay.
He doesn't have that electric speed. There's not much. I remember last year where he had that, where we down like all our running backs, and he had a pretty good game, right? Thankful for that. Always remember that moment. It sucks, but at the same time, man, we don't need it. We just don't need it. There's so many. Cole Kmet could be your fullback. Doug Kramer obviously could be your fullback. It's just they're going to need a roster spot either for a trade. Yep. We have guys coming back that are going to be Larry Burham. We have
the DN as
Ryan
well.
Bates. So there's some room that had to be made, and I think giving up Bayless was obvious. Putting him on waivers, and then I'm a little. I guess you could say a little shocked, but at the same time, I just felt like if anyone was going to go, it was probably Kari, unfortunately. So,
I saw. So I was reading. I can't remember who it was. I was reading Chicago Tribune, I think, talking about the Bayless Jones. Getting put on waivers. Technically, if it's because how waivers work, it's always like first come first serve based off the wire. He could still be traded on Saturday. So. You're not going to get the value we saw in Hard Knocks, but King Poles, if someone can do it, please. If we can get a 5th, a 6th, it doesn't even matter. Just something so that he doesn't just hit the waiver wire. That would be fantastic. So I don't know if that will happen. The likelihood is probably slim to none, but Poles has done some crazier things before. So,
no, shout out to Bayless. Hopefully he finds another spot. But let's go ahead and get into it. Again, if you're here, hit that like button. A lot of people in the chat, if you can, just hit that like button. Helps promote the show. But we are going to get to our bold predictions.
Let's get to our team overview. Let's go to our team overview first, and then we'll go right into bold predictions.
You take the lead.
All good, Jack. I know we had a guest on, so we're a little scrambled over here. But taking a look at the team overview here, first thing I want to announce, this is the first time all season the Bears, that's right, your Chicago Bears, have won football in every offensive category. So round of applause here. That is called progress. But unfortunately, if you look at the other side of the coin, we're going against a real dominant offense. Probably a top 2, if not 1 offense in the NFL right now, which is crazy to think about. Luckily, our defense is still balling out, but as we talked about, we do have some deficits on the secondary with some injuries. So hopefully Flus can cook up a pretty good game plan. But this is the first time as well this season, at least that we've been tracking this, that the opposing team has more footballs than us. So even though we're favored by Vegas, which is probably due to Jaden Daniels being out or possibly being out, we're really kind of underdogs when it comes to roster-wise. So it'll be a very interesting matchup to see how that works out this week.
Yeah, no, I see that one football and I'm like, man, I feel like it should be more. But
unfortunately, it's
because I think our blocking's gotten a lot better. I think our passing's gotten a lot better.
We had one bad week. So our offensive line had been getting better. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was the game we gave up 4 sacks and we scored out very poorly that game. And so it kind of pushed us back. So now we're slowly, on the incline there. So we'll see what happens. But at least we know that this offense is hopefully maybe starting to find its groove. And like we kind of projected at the end of the season, hopefully we can have like 3 footballs in some, like multiple would be great, but at least like the passing aspect or the running aspect. So we'll see.
But looking at that overview, the Commanders are kind of scary, especially when it comes to the team overview, all those footballs. It is interesting. I liked how Josh talked about, some of our strengths, but I mean, the Commanders are, no matter what, even if Mariota is going to be out there, it's going to be a tough game, especially on the road. I thought it was interesting. I forgot where I read the stat, Bears are 0-2 obviously on the season, but I think they're 3-16 on the road during the Matt Eberflus era. So
not good.
God, that's got to be fixed.
And one of those 3 wins is in Washington with Fields
make it
DJ
twice.
Moore, so
make a combo.
Yeah. So it's not great. We're not a great road team, but we are a great home team. So, but I think if we can, this is a prime opportunity, specifically if Daniels is out, for us to keep the momentum going. Like if we win this, I think we could really see this team build some confidence and start to take off.
Well, that's the conversation is like, would you rather, because like the main debate is like, if Jaden does play, then we get that like cinematic view of like Caleb versus Jaden, but then you spin zone it and say, if it's Mariota playing, then like our odds to win increase an insurmountable, amount. So it's like, would you prefer, or you two prefer, to have Jaden play and we get that Caleb versus Jaden, or would you prefer to have the Mariota, but we have a better chance to win? Because I'm not going to say we guarantee to win because he looked good, but better chance.
Yeah, it's tough because from a fan experience, I think like in an ego experience, let's be real, like part of the fan part is like us saying, oh, Caleb outright beat Jaden, which is funny because they're not even facing this. It's not like offense versus defense. They're both facing against the opposing team's defense, right? But I think like the narrative is that we can kind of walk away and be like, all right, calm the Jaden Daniel talk, right? But from a schedule standpoint, and we, like Dave talked about earlier, we know how rough that back half is with the NFC North. Like we really have to take advantage, which we have so far, but we really have to take advantage of these remaining 3 games. So if we can come out of the first 9 games 7-2, that is going to be huge for us because we're probably going to lose at least 3 games in the NFC North Gauntlet unless something happens. So
Fick, I think you're muted again, but I'm trying to read his lips. His lips here. And
yeah. So let me just take off. So from that, I think in my honest opinion, I don't want to play JD right now. I want to win. I want to get to 7-2. That's what's important. Let's play him in the playoffs if we can get there, right? If that comes to it, I don't care about matchups. I understand it'll be cool, fun, but right now it's about wins, and I don't care if they're easy right now because we know damn well in about 3-4 weeks, every game from there on is going to be difficult. Yes. Hi, Ficky.
Thank you. Sorry. There's no way to test that without just a random hello.
No, I agree. So for me, absolutely, I'll take not an easy win because it's going to be a win. NFL, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. I mean, look at the Rams. I know they got some help, but I mean, Puka.
Puka.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And then you had Cup back, and they beat the Vikings were favored by a lot. And I understand they got some weapons back, and there's not a lot of context because the Bears played a very downgraded or depleted Rams team. But for the Rams to do what they did was very impressive. And I guess I don't know if the Vikings are on fraud watch. I've been hearing that, been seeing that. I'm like, I don't know. That's
Their defense is still good. Their defense is still good.
So, but anyways, long story short, I just want to win. I don't care who is playing quarterback. So 5-2 is 5-2.
If we had to play the Carolina Panthers all 17 games, like sign me up. I do.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Yep.
Like I don't care if that means Caleb looks good, defense looks good, and we just win. Like that's fantastic. Because funny thing is, that's probably how the Chiefs feel when they play most of their opponents. I'm sure like they don't talk about that, but like half of their schedule, the Chiefs probably have so much confidence in the team that they're like, oh, we're playing the Panthers this week. We're playing the Panthers this week. And they just go out there and win, right? So we're hoping we can get to that point, and getting maybe some of these easy wins, you could say, will build that confidence to where they go out each week, right? When we go against the Packers and they walk in and say, no, it's not a surprise if we win this week. We know we can win this week. And I think they're already starting to develop that because the players have said it. But yeah, I'm just kind of in the mindset of like, let's just get wins. Let's win. I don't care how it is. Let's win.
I agree. Well, hey, since this is the bye week, it kind of threw me off. What's next, Ficky? I forgot what order we do this. Is it bold predictions? Is it predictions? What are we doing here? All right,
bold predictions. Let's do it. Oh, can you go to the? Oh, I didn't tie in the first one, so I wanted to show in our records so far, and it's not great. I think I forgot to add it in. Sorry, bye week we're a little rusty, but we all lost on our bold predictions last week. I think I'm like 2-4 now, Dave. I think you're 1-5, and Jack, you're 2-3. So. Not great. But for this week, we're getting on a hot streak, all of us. I'm starting with the defense. I say they have 2 takeaways, And I'm saying that because I believe Jaden Daniels is not playing. I think if Jaden Daniels was playing, we'd get lucky to have one because he really hasn't fumbled the ball or turned it over from interceptions. But I think Mariota's going to play, and I think this defense will figure something out. Flus is going to cook up some beautiful scheme where Mariota's just going to read it wrong and throw it right to us. So I'm going for 2 defensive turnovers. And Dave, on to you.
Interesting. I like that one. So I went with Rome. I think Rome's going to have a bounce back week. They have 2 weeks to game plan for this team, essentially. I think Rome's going to be heavily involved because Keenan obviously going to draw attention. Of course, we know what DJ Moore did to Washington last year. So I think this is where Rome Odunze has 2 touchdowns. I don't know what the yards equate to, but I just think he's going to score 2 big touchdowns for this Bears team. And that's what I feel. So it'd be a good one.
I wouldn't be mad about that. Would not be mad about that. Do you think, just curious, do you think it's more like a Keenan Allen 2 touchdown game where it's like 40 yards, 2 touchdowns? Are we thinking like this is
no idea
Rome?
I don't know how this game's going to play out. I really don't. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. So I would assume we're looking at perhaps a Indianapolis Colts type, performance where he hits on a couple deep balls, Caleb, and connects with Rome. Because I mean, that was, as far as deep ball goes, I think Caleb has 3 or 4 that are 3 or 4 completions of 20 plus yards, and 2 of them are to Rome. So
it's true.
And it was the Indy game. So I think for me, yards are always hard to predict, but I think Rome, he gets open a lot. He has a very, very diverse route tree already for a young guy. I just think they just have not connected on some of these, and I think it happens, man. So the Washington Redskins Commanders are pause, right? They are one of the worst pass defenses as well. So I think it's 30th in the NFL. So depending on where you look at it. So I mean, either way, that's not a good metric, right? And so for me, I know we've been beating up on bad teams. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but this is a team where you should be able to score points and move the football. And if we don't see that, I'll be concerned. So for my bold prediction, I think Rome gets through. I mean, I think this could be a shootout. I really do believe it, especially with our defense being a little bit more depleted. But yeah, as far as bold prediction, I'm going with Rome. Also, I think it's just a good vibe pick. I want Rome. He's such a good guy. He's kind of been quieter. I see him on those rookie wide receiver lists, right? And he's like 6th or 7th, some 5th in some categories. But it's like he's behind 2 vets. DJ Moore is going to be here for a while as well. So I think there's context on these rankings, and I think Rome needs a little bit of love. So hopefully he gets on the stat sheet along with just the touchdowns and of course the yards to go with it.
Yeah, well, I'm not concerned either. Is that what he's been known for in college? He's still been known for in the NFL. You throw that ball his way, he is bringing that down. We've seen some crazy contested catches by him. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. But I could see that actually happening. Jack, on to you. What's your bold take?
Mine involves Papa Caleb. Caleb throws 300 plus. I think that we just sort of dove into it where really, really rough pass defense. I think that their entire defense as a whole, especially like what we talked about earlier with Josh, and that like their D-line is depleted. It's really rough. I think that that's going to open up the game. We've talked about it since week 1 that the run game starts and the pass game will come with it. And so I think that that's what it's going to look like. I could have easily have said Swift 80 plus, the same exact thing. I think that the offense will break this defense down. I think that that's the key to our game. If we did a key to the game or like key to success, I think that that's number 1. Passing game's got to just be on point for this one.
Well, what a perfect transition, if you don't mind, because I think we could talk about our key to the games here, unless Dave, you had a comment on that. Sorry.
No, I have a key to let's keep it moving.
My key, it's not trenches this time, but trenches adjacent. It's the run game. And it's who comes out on top in the run game. So it's more of like their run right now. They have three players on the offensive side that has rushing yards per carry above 4.5. Eckler on a smaller sample set, but still looking good. Jaden Daniels, obviously, because he's going crazy, and Brian Robinson. So their offensive line has been pretty good this year for the Commanders. So it's really saying, can we slow down their run game? And then on our end, backing off kind of what Jack said, our run game has started to pick up. Can we continue that? Because we've seen when we've rushed over like 50 or 60 yards, Caleb has had some of his best games to date, is when we're able to run the ball at least 60 times. Run at 60 times, Jesus. Run for 60 yards. So And it's not an attempt issue. We've had some games we've rushed it for 30. We just couldn't get anything. So we really needed to develop that so we can open up some of those boots that Caleb's good at, some of those play actions, which we've executed really well this year. And we can start to get some of those deep shots, which we haven't seen much of recently. And we can really take advantage, like Dave said, of this weak secondary.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think that's run game's always important. The Bears have, since they've got this offensive going, it's because of the involvement of DeAndre Swift. And of course, the blocking has been a lot better. So my key to the game here is it's just really one word. It's positive. And the reason I say positive is I just want this team to stay ahead, right? Whether it's the sticks, positive plays on first down. When this team is, I think at its worst, at least early on in the season, was when it was negative, whether that's a false start, whether that's, a run with Swift for like that is 3-4 yards, it's blown up because of blocking or just anything like that. So for me, it's just especially early on because you do not want to get behind against the Commanders where this offense is electric, especially if JD is playing. I'm just assuming he is, so that's what I'm going off of.
That's fine.
Since he's a game time decision. But to go behind against this team and allow them to, be ahead and dictate what Caleb and this offense has to do, which is probably throw the ball. Obviously, if you're down a couple scores, you're not going to be running as much. So for me, it starts with being positive, whether it's first down, second down, and just getting in those third and manageable 3rd, 5, 3rd and 4. That's when I feel like this team, and especially Caleb, is able to really sit back there and dissect and be kind of like a surgeon where he can get it to his guys. I think Josh said it best where he's like, I asked him what he was most afraid of, and it was the Bears receiving core because these guys it's weapon after weapon after weapon. He didn't even talk about Cole Kmet, who's been a top 5 tight end in this league. So I think if he can at least have some time and they can stay ahead of the sticks and remain positive, I think this team, they have every chance to be in this game, if not win it. I'm not even going to say what I was about to say, but that's how I feel. I feel like this team has a really good opportunity here if they can keep the ball rolling. So.
Not that you're going to say it or not that it's your take, but if you were to say what you were thinking, what would it be? But this is not you saying it. It's just hypothetically.
Yeah.
It's not me saying it, but if this team can play to their best ability, I think they can route this team.
That's fair. Especially that bad defense, right? Because if you look at the matchups, I know this is high-level matchup, but you have great offense versus great defense, right? So that's Commanders versus the Bears defense, right? And then on the flip side, you have getting better offense, right? Finding its groove offense versus horrible defense. So the favorable, you're basically even on one side, right? Their offense versus our defense, and then you're favorable on our end, which is offense. Our offense.
I'll be honest. Defense. Our offense, sure, you can't even say it's elite right now, but just like in the offseason, we thought that this offense could be electric. And we have not even seen them at their best still, especially with the wide receivers. Keenan's just getting back into, I know he had 2 touchdowns last week, but he's still getting in the groove. Caleb is a rookie, but he's coming along. And for me, I am not buying into Washington because they have not played defense. And I know we're missing 2 awesome players, but Terrell Smith is back, our corner. We got guys, we got depth. And that linebacker core, our defensive line, I think the Bears have an opportunity, a rare one, to go away and make a statement because, and also I know it's a bye week, but they've had a very long time to prepare for this team where Washington has been riding emotions, right? Jaden did not practice all week. I don't care what it says. I know he could be in the film room. He could be doing all that, but it's like, I think that's going to matter even if he does play, right? And he could be limited. So for me, I'm not going to say it because this would be crazy, but there is a possibility where we could see on Monday morning, wow, that Bears team is for real. They went in, they kicked Washington's ass, dictated. I'm not saying they win by 30, but it's like it's a commanding 10-point, 14-point win, right? So,
no pun intended.
That's good. Hey.
But that's I could see that as well, right? And I think Josh brought up a great point, and it was about ribs, right? About that is an area like torso where you can't like avoid it. Like every movement involves your torso, right? And I saw some doctor on Twitter talking about typically with like a bone or cartilage around the rib issue, it's typically, even if they come back that first week, you would expect they're like 80%, right? How does that affect the game plan with Jaden Daniels in there, right? Also, the opposing team, the defense knows that this is an injured player. So they're look, whether you like it or not, it's moral or not. They're attacking him in those weaker areas, right? So I think that does play into our favor, no matter if he plays or doesn't, that this is going to be a lesser version of the Jaden Daniels that we've been seeing. But if it is the Jaden Daniels we have been seeing, I want to talk about this crazy stat that I heard this week, which is just sums up this offense. I know they've been going against kind of weaker defenses, but this is crazy. On third down, this team has 82 third downs that they've had. They are 40 for 82. They are almost 50% on third down. That is remarkably high. It is absurd. And then guess what? You think that's good. On fourth down, they have 9 attempts all season. Out of all 9 attempts, how many of those have they converted?
Probably 8.
Jack?
I'll go 7.
9. They have converted every fourth down. Do you understand that? That literally, typically going fourth down, that typically leads to points, right? Typically. So again, I know they've gone against weaker defenses, and this is going to be their first test, just like how it is for our defense against this offense. It's really, well, if Jaden plays. But they can only play who they play, and they have looked dominant from running, passing, blocking on all levels. So it'll be interesting to see.
Interesting. All right. Hey, well, is it predictions?
We got Monday.
Bold predictions?
Yep. Yeah, we got headlines, and then we'll do predictions.
Well, don't we do our predictions first?
Let's do predictions.
Because headlines would kind of give it away.
Yeah, you're right.
Cool.
You're right. Here we go. We'll go first right here. I have 31-21. I still think Jaden's not playing. So that would be my prediction for Jaden not playing. If Jaden's playing, I would just say it might be a little bit closer. Maybe a field goal you throw in there. So 24-31. But I think this defense is so bad, and our offense is starting to get a groove, particularly against bad defenses these past couple of weeks, that they can find a way to get 30 points, right? What the defense does on their end, can they continue the streak of holding teams to 21 or less? It's going to be interesting to see.
I like it. If that happens, I would love that score prediction.
Absolutely. It'd be fantastic.
What do I have?
I think yours is better. There you go. This is if Jaden's not playing.
Okay.
Sorry.
And if he was, it was 27-24. So
correct. One more time.
So this is without Jaden playing, of course. Now, if he does, which I'm expecting him to, because I feel like we're getting smoke screened here. It's actually the opposite of what Josh Taylor, he put 27-24 Commanders. I have it flip-flop. I'm not saying it's a game winner. I just think it's close. I would love a blowout because that would be such a statement game, especially if Jaden is to play. I just think this Bears team, I think they have a lot of talent, man. And I think especially on the defense and with the offense playing the way it has, I just hope they keep building and especially going up such a good test. And they have such ample time to prepare for this team. I don't know if that's a myth, but it's like, man, you better come out at least with those first 15 plays. Score a touchdown right off the rip. So,
well, Dave, Flus actually has a pretty good record off, not like win-loss because it's 1-1, but like a good track record off the bye. His first year, they go against the Philadelphia Eagles. You remember that Justin Fields went crazy that game. They almost beat them, right? I think it was like the last drive. They lose by 5. That Philly team then goes on to the Super Bowl, right? They lose, but they go on to it. So
I will say this.
A really good team. And then
also,
last year, they beat, and then finished up. And then last year, they faced a very hot Lions team at home and stomped them by 13. I think that's the Goff 4-pick game. So it seems that, two opponents after the bye, really good ones, and they played well against. This is a much lesser, I'd say, quality of talent team. So you're hoping that Flus can, continue that track. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I like Flus against a rookie quarterback too. I know Jaden's been electric, but I like Terry McLaurin, but I think JJ, I think we can kind of keep him in check. I really do. So I want to see Flus and company be able to, I want them to stop Jaden because he's a rookie. At the end of the day, he's going to have some games you would expect that are going to be not pretty. This is just, I feel like it's shaping up to be one of those for where the Bears defense just has an advantage, especially when they play like Drake May in a couple weeks, right? I expect them to make it hell for a rookie quarterback. And I know Jaden's played well, but you have to factor in that he has not faced anything like this at this level. And I don't care that we're missing Kyler Gordon, but he's really fucking lucky because Gordon on a blitz, I mean, I know he's fast, but that's a guy who can catch him, right? So for me, I know we're missing pieces. I just think we have enough pieces still to make it hell for him, especially maybe not the entire duration, but at least in spurts where he's uncomfortable. And we'll see. We'll see how these rookie quarterbacks are able to kind of make some magic and stuff. So,
Jack, what about you? What you got for the score?
Speechless.
They win by 40?
I wish. The problem is you guys do yours like too reasonable, and then I feel like an idiot being like 58-3. But anyways, I think it's going to be Bears 31, Commanders 23. I do want to preface that this score is somewhat fraud in the way of I think that the Bears are up like, let's say 24-6. Then we just slow down the fourth quarter. They score twice, two-point conversions. Do the math on that. That gets you to 23. I think it'll be something like that. I think that the Bears absolutely stomp them. That's with Jaden, with Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, Tyson Bagent. Don't care. Anybody who you put under center in Washington, doesn't matter. I do think that they're a good enough team, though, to where they can score 2 to 3 times minimum. I would be shocked if we held them to like 7 or 10 or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think the 30-point streak continues. I think, like Ficky said, it just comes down to the Bears receivers going up against a shitty Commander secondary.
You know, Jack, you said that maybe we would allow the like in the second half we get our foot off the pedal and they kind of score in that second half.
Yes.
Crazy. Not to say that can't happen, but this defense is averaging only 7.5 points in the second half allowed. They fluce with adjustments. Yes. They may give up some in the first half like they did with Houston, but they shut it down in the second. So I think if we actually do what Dave's been wishing for weeks and get ahead, like actually score early, particularly in that first quarter, I think we might see that blowout that we're all hoping for. Yeah.
And I like that comment there on YouTube. Terrell Smith, I mean, just last year, he was making it a difficult decision to either play Tyreek Stevenson as a rookie, and Smith. There was a talk about a cornerback controversy about, I know Stevenson was picked higher. He ultimately started and he's been balling out. Obviously has his rookie struggles, and this year he's been very, very good. But Terrell Smith is a testament to Ryan Poles and who he's brought in, how he's drafting and building through the draft, because Terrell Smith, we don't talk about him a lot, but he's very, very good.
Who's our backup nickel? I feel like I should know this because obviously Jalen's playing, Tyreek's playing. We know that Elijah Hicks is going to be the backup safety because he was last week. Who's the backup for Gordon?
So, hold on here.
Does Terrell play any nickel? Blackwell. It's Blackwell.
Yeah, Josh
right,
Blackwell.
Which he played last week.
And then he played well. So
yeah. So even if it's Terrell playing some nickel too, like, yeah, we have, we talked about this last week with the injuries. With the secondary, you have pieces in there that have been on this team within this defense for at least 2 years, if not more. So I agree with you, Dave.
It's just time for somebody else to step up. Like Montez Sweat, I think he needs to step up this week. I mean, if everyone can kind of play just a little bit of level above, I think we're going to be fine. So
question for you then, for both y'all. What do you think happens? More, do we think we get a DJ revenge game kind of, even though he's not from the team, but what we saw last year? Or do we get a Montez Sweat revenge game? Like, who are we going to walk away from and be like, wow, they went crazy that game? More likely.
I think it's DJ. I know Montez may get a sack, but I think he's going to have more opportunities where I think he's just so good. I think he's going to be able to eat against this, like you said, Jack, a secondary that is not, in the nicest terms, just good. They're not good, man. They're still not good. I know there was a lot. Josh talked about the pieces they brought in, a lot of new faces, the most movement for an NFL roster this year. And you're seeing it. They're 5-2, playing well. But for me, I think DJ Moore is just, we're needing a big game from him. He's kind of had a quiet season, all things considered. And so, right, Jack? I didn't even mean that. But anyways, I think DJ.
I blacked out. What did you say?
A quiet season. I said DJ's kind of had a quiet season.
Really quiet.
Reminded me of that storyline.
All I said were facts. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but we're not bringing that up. We're better than that.
Not at all.
And DJ, I think it would be more likely. But I would love to see Montez Sweat have 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks.
Yeah, I agree. I think DJ, obviously, but that ties really well into what I was just about to say. Was really quick, 30-second minute rant. I am so tired of like this idea. Like the Commanders are good. They're a decent team to where like they're winning games and all you can do is win, beat who you play. We've said this. This is our Chicago Bears mantra for the past 2 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, right? However, I look at both sides of the ball, Bears on offense, Bears on defense, Commanders on offense, Commanders on defense. I would say that I can't even fathom the idea that there's a conversation that the Commanders roster is even remotely similar to the Chicago Bears. Like, we don't need Kyler, we don't need Jaquan, and I would say that we, on both sides of the ball, on paper, we have the better 11. Wouldn't you agree? Like, it's so crazy to me that because you're even like, you're on mute again. But, like, we were talking about Terry with Josh, right? And it's like, Jalen Johnson on Terry McLaurin. Like, it's not Jamar or Jay Jettis. You know, it's not. It's Terry McLaurin. And then I don't even know who the wide receiver 2 is. Zacchaeus? Like, is that the 2? This is my lack of research. But
no, it's
I think so. No, he's 3.
Brown. Like, that's right. Like, it's just
you have Dwami, and then you have Zacchaeus. So I think it's like their wide receiver 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's just in total. It's just I can't imagine. All right. Scratch everything I said on the score prediction. There is a way that we can hold them to 10 points. There's absolutely a way, especially if Mariota plays. They're not that good of a team like Brian Robinson.
Well, no, but you know what? We're overlooking. Their offensive line has been pretty solid this year. Their right guard from their center from the Cowboys is a dog, and then their right guard, who they just signed for a contract extension in the offseason, he's been balling out. And one of their tackles has been playing really well, and he's out this game. I'm trying to pull up his name, but their offensive line, basically, that's why their run game has been great, right? It's not just scheme. Their offensive line has been pretty good in pass pro and run protection as well. So I think that's if you're looking at I'd say skill position, I think that's the only one where I would say is actually probably better than ours is their offensive line. Because they have and
they played Baltimore.
Yeah, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
I was just saying they played Baltimore very well. And that's a Super Bowl contender. So,
yep. I said, but yeah, I think Jack, that's the part of this game. I feel like it really could go 2 different ways, in the biggest variable and question mark, which we won't know till like 30 minutes or an hour before the game, is if Jaden Daniels even plays.
Well, football is just a crazy game. There's going to be so many plays. Like it all comes down to, limited mistakes and then just capitalizing, right? Like you just gotta make every drive count. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a close game. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter who plays, but I think it's going to be a close game. But I think there is a factor, and I think Bears fans should finally feel a little bit confident why not? Why not go out there, have Rome, have Keenan, Kmet, Caleb, just go out there and show out, right? Like it's definitely a possibility, especially coming off a bye. They're feeling, this roster, the vibes, they feel so good. And they want to keep it going. Cole Kmet mentioned it's our job now to keep the buzz, right? And I feel like they're going to be really freaking motivated, especially being moved up to that 325 slot. Gonna be making plays.
What I was just about to ask.
They are on national television. Last time we were there, of course, you played. Would they play on Sunday night? Didn't we play on Sunday Night Football already?
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. It was still close, right?
Still close.
But it wasn't great. They got to make that right. So I feel like fireworks could be coming. Hopefully they're good fireworks. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when's the last time the Bears have been flexed? Like, we have not been good enough for a game to be flexed in a minute. I would say 2018 for sure. We had a couple flex there because we weren't expected to be good, so they gave us some more primetime games. But I think this is it.
Was the Packers game not flexed last year? The last one?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have to go back. I try not to remember the Packer games, to be honest. I try to delete all those from my mind. But yeah,
I agree.
I think it's a good testament. It's a good test for them to come out here and literally show the NFL that, like, look, that we may have played some bad teams, but I think if we walk away and beat this team confidently, the narrative around the Bears, especially from a national standpoint, will start to shift even more. So,
yeah.
All right. Speaking of national headlines. There it is. Beat me to it. I love it. Let's do the Monday headlines.
Man.
Oh, my goodness. That's hilarious. Man. All right. So mine is Rookie of the Year is here because right now, as we know, the conversation for Rookie of the Year is really boiled down to these 2 players, even though I would say Brian Thomas Jr. has been balling out. But I think this is going to start to shift that narrative. And just to preface, I really don't care if Caleb wins it or not. I just, again, my only thing is walking out of here and knowing that we have our franchise quarterback. But of course, if he wins it, that also answers that question. So I will not be upset about it. But I think this is the first matchup where it's 2.
I think it would have been funny if you would have put Rookie of the Week ? You know,
That's hilarious.
That would've been
He's been
funny.
snubbed. He got snubbed
Yeah.
on 2 of those. Come
Yeah.
on now. Not that it matters because it's voted by the fans anyways. Bears fans, we need to do better. But let's start to shift the narrative and let people know. I think national analysts are like, yo, Caleb is looking really good. But if you're a stat watcher, obviously it's not as great as Jaden. And also the tape for Jaden's great too. I'm not discrediting that. The dude is balling out. So like what he has, I think he has 4 rushing touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and
4 passing
1,700
touchdowns. That's impressive.
6. Sorry, he's got 6.
Oh,
got
6.
Yeah,
Still.
6. My bad.
Same thing.
But still, he's got like 10 total
No.
touchdowns, only 3 turnovers. That's including 1 fumble, 2 interceptions, and he has 1,700 yards. So the man's balling.
Yeah.
But
I don't
that
care.
could change this week.
Fuck the
That could change
Commanders,
this
dude.
week.
All right. So my headlines for Monday is arms race. The reason this Bears win, but I think it's just a testament to the division. It's an arm race. It's an arms race just because the NFC North is just loaded. It's an absolute war. So if the Bears win, I expect, I think the Lions are going to win. I think at best, I think every team could be at least 5-2 or 6-2. I think the Packers could be 6.
I think it's 5-2.
Either way,
Yeah.
5 or 6 wins each with 2 losses if everyone wins on Sunday. And I think if the Bears do, which I'm predicting, I just think it's just a testament to how great this division is. But also it's going to be a war of attrition, right? We just saw Darrisaw go down in Minnesota, right? So everyone needs to stay healthy. Otherwise, you're going to exploit those matchups, right? You're going to be missing. If the Bears are missing, DJ Moore or something like that, right? Knock on wood. That's a huge shift, especially late in the season where you don't have to prepare for that. So for me, I think it's just a testament to, young quarterbacks in this division outside of Jared Goff, right? But they're young. Sam Darnold's not young, but you get what I'm saying. JJ McCarthy's coming. So I just feel like this division it's going to be, like I said, a war of attrition. And I don't think it's not favorable for the Bears because, they're one of the younger teams. Of course, the Packers, I think, are younger, but Caleb Williams, obviously below Jordan Love as far as starts and experience. So I think just after this week, I think it's every week if I feel like we say this, but it's like this is a hell. This is a gauntlet. So that's why I went with arms race.
I think it'll be NFL history. I think it'll be the first time going into week 7 that a division has 20 wins. Like split,
That's
like
crazy.
between the 14. Yeah. That's wild. Think about
That's our
that.
luck,
4
though.
teams. But yeah, I know. Only us where we may have found our quarterback that we end up being in historically
cares?
the hardest.
Who cares,
division. I'm
though?
not mad.
You
It's
got to be
just
the
funny.
best.
It's
Gotta
true.
be the best,
You do.
man.
It's true. It's true.
I would
It
like to
only
beat
make
the
it
best in
better.
the Super Bowl, not like in week 9 through 17.
You know what?
No.
It'll get us there, though.
Get
If you
hardened.
beat them, though, your
Dude.
confidence is going to be through the roof. So
Yeah.
it's all right, though. It's going to even out. In the back half, there's going to be more NFC North
These
games.
teams are
Teams
beatable.
starting to
Green
lose.
Bay's weakness. They got Brett Favre back there sometimes. He's insane. He's so good. But he does give you a couple freebies, right? Similar to Anthony Richardson, who you just got to take advantage of it, right? And the Bears offense early in the season was not able to. So glad they're in the back half of the season. But that's why
Thank
it's so
God.
important. You win these next 3 games, you're 7-2.
Got to take it.
Then win 3 more, and you're probably in.
If we walk away 7-2 in the first 9, I think all of us count that as a victory. No, I don't think.
No,
like
fuck. I would be.
I think
probably 9.
I think Vegas was 8 for the
7-2.
season.
I feel like it would be like Cutler vibes. Like
For sure.
he did hurt his thumb, but anyways. would
Jack,
be
what do you got
insane.
for your headline?
Just remember, I am a podcast producer, not a newspaper writer. However, the season of Caleb begins. It sounded more dramatic in my head. However, I think that Caleb just balls out, like I said in the bold prediction, 300 plus. Game of Caleb, Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota, don't care. 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 3 incomplete passes. Book it.
Love it. Well, hey,
I'm not mad
I'm
about
curious.
that.
In the comments, let us know which headline you like best. So
Yeah,
and tell us why
absolutely.
it's not Jack's.
Tell us what that is. No, to be fair, Jax, they're not the best, but
The thing is, behind the curtain, real quick.
have to write for
This
it.
morning, we're like, "Hey, Jack," Ficky's like, "Hey, Jack, I need your headline," and he's like, "All right, give me a little bit," and then we wait all day, and this guy comes in with that.
So the only reason I asked is because I used AI in ChatGPT.
Uh-huh.
This is what it came up with. Bears command the field. Chicago commands the win. Bears power overpowers Commanders. And Bears roar to victory. And then now you guys are going to
I don't like any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of those are good.
No,
Those
I
are
like
just
those
one would have been
better.
the Bears command the win, but that's almost 2 on the point. So
Yeah.
And
You should
then
just
we
been
also
like,
leave out the part where I got ignored, like it sort of seemed like I was asking for just a hand, just reach out, just give me like a few words of inspo. Like when I was like, Ficky, what's yours? Like it's just
I saw that. I said,
Yeah,
I was going to say something. I was like, Jack, no, you can't ask what Ficky's is. You got to come up with your own.
I just needed help.
Funny.
You should be like body
No, it's all
language,
funny.
question mark or something like that.
No, sometimes I'd be like,
I
I
thought
have no
that,
idea, but
All right.
it's funny.
Yeah.
Let's head out of here.
Man, was this
No.
the 90s? But
We
good stuff.
appreciate y'all. It's gonna be a late night pod. We'll be coming arrive around 7:00, I believe. Whenever the game ends in that 3:25 time slot, we'll be going with our post game live reactions. Of course, be sure to get those voicemails in. It's on the screen. It's on our Twitter, where you can go and hit that link and press record on your phone, and that's how you leave a voicemail. Super easy. Again, thank you, Sports Mockery, for making this podcast possible. We're on episode, I think, 105. Kind of crazy. Again, after this airs, we're going to be over 1 million views on YouTube. So thank you so much for the support. If you can, before you go, hit that like button. If you're watching on the airwaves, Spotify, Apple, of course, leave a review, download the pod if you can. Shout out to Tito here with that $5 super chat. Let's see. You want to read it, Fick, or you want me to?
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Tito. Always giving the love. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the super chats from all of y'all, whether it's $1, 5 million. You can send those if you want. We appreciate all of it. But
I like that.
$5 here on YouTube said, we're ready, boys. Playoffs, here we come. Next year in free agency, who do you like better? The C from Indy or the guard from Kansas City? And how much are you paying? I say break bank. I'm trying to think who's the center. I know the center. Yeah. Look that up. Who's the center from Indy and the guard from KC? But appreciate the super chat. I'm trying to think who's on the
Colts is Ryan Kelly.
Is it Ryan Kelly?
Okay, Ryan Kelly. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't done enough research on the free agency market coming up. We'll obviously will do that. We'll have more on that, but I'm gonna look into that and I'll have an answer for you on our next pregame.
Problem, it's hard to look ahead, especially. I mean, typically at this point we would be looking towards the draft, towards free agency, but the Bears are right in it, man. This is such an important game. You moved 5-2, you're thinking playoffs. So we will get to that though. We appreciate the super chat, but yeah, I can't wait for those free agents episodes. But hopefully that's a little ways away. You know.
Yes, please. Let's get some wins.
Thank you, Tito.
So,
but like I said,
Jack, Jack, did we have any like hashtags or anything for shout outs?
We didn't have hashtags. We had questions.
Okay, what questions do we have here? I think we got 2. That's real quick.
Yeah, you want to speed run?
Yep, here we go. Philip Paul Masano on YouTube said, hey, I may have missed it. Do the Bears not make a huge trade after releasing Blasingame and Velus Jones? We kind of talked about this. It's more to open up roster spots for some of the guys who are coming off IR back onto the squad. It doesn't mean a trade can't happen, but I don't think that the releasing of these 2 players necessarily means that there's a big trade coming. Anyone disagree? If not, I'll move on to the next one.
Nailed it.
Okay, perfect.
I won't say there could always be a big trade with Ryan Poles.
No, yeah, it could be, but I don't think it's because of those moves that it's a signal for that. Poles does trade for years, so there could be one coming. All right, Andrew Bettke right here on YouTube, and I'll have this one for y'all. Who's your guys' trade candidates? Give me one each. Dave, you got one off the top of mine, and then Jack.
I could see a Miles. I could see like a Miles Garrett, potentially like someone from the Browns, like a guard.
Maybe.
Ooh,
yeah,
Micah.
No, not Micah. I don't see Micah coming.
Wait, you were being serious about Miles Garrett? Like
I
you
could
genuinely could see it?
It depends if they do a full sell. The Browns are kind of selling.
The Browns are so interesting because they're so bad. Their quarterback's out. I just think there's a possibility where they could let him go. And I think that's a player Poles would be willing to pay for.
Okay. I was making a joke. I thought you were kidding. I'm in.
No, I don't think Micah, but I think Miles is possible.
Yeah, Micah.
I mean, not possible.
Younger,
I think it's unlikely, but if there is a big trade coming, I would like to see that. However, I've also been saying, I've been on record, I don't think they need to make any trades.
I don't either.
So
let's hold.
Keep the capital.
Hold. So I agree.
Hold.
So, yeah, that'd be good. It'd probably be a DN too. Let's be real.
whether
it's Miles or it's Crosby,
or even a DT, like another. I think. Depth there.
True. Yep, it's gonna be someone on the D line. I feel like, and we already talked about it ad nauseum. It's hard to trade for offensive linemen because there's such a scarcity with it. So no one trades their good players. So,
but we do have Nate Davis.
We do. Hey, Byers. Hey, he's great. He's great. Me and Dave have been selling him since week 1. He's a great talent. So
yeah,
come get him.
All right. Any other questions we got, Jack?
That's it.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all. We will be back Sunday, hopefully after Bears win. If you have any questions, let us know. Of course, follow us on all socials. You can see it here. Thank you to Josh Taylor again for hopping on, talking ball with us. And you guys have a great, safe weekend.